Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the King Island Ordinary Council meeting for the month of July 2026. For the record, today's date is Tuesday, the 21st of July 2026. I call the meeting to order and declare the meeting open at 4:02 p.m. Usual housekeeping, if you can please ensure your mobile phones are turned off or put on silent so that we are not interrupted. Thank you. Item 1 on the agenda, as always, is qualified advice. Pursuant to Section 65 of the Local Government Act of the State of Tasmania, 1993, we hereby certify that qualified advice has been received to prepare today's agenda. Over to page 7, the required opening statement. As chair of this council meeting, I notify all that an audio-visual recording is being made of the meeting. All persons attending the meeting are to be respectful of and considerate towards other persons attending the meeting, and the language and conduct at the meeting that could be perceived as offensive, defamatory or threatening to a person attending the meeting or listening to the recording is not acceptable. And I'll just add tonight that we do have a camera set up to do some test filming to eventually be able to put a high quality product online down the track. So Wade's doing that tonight. So, all right, over to item 2 on page 8. Item 2, attendance and apologies. We'll mark the roll book, so to speak. I welcome all councillors and staff in attendance. Just confirming our elected councillor quorum numbers. We currently have 2 councillors on a leave of absence, the Deputy Mayor and Councillor Healy. With those 2 taken into consideration, plus all of the councillors present here tonight, that's excellent. We are 7 of 9. We certainly have the required minimum quorum, and we are good to crack on and transact council business. Staff attendance, King Island staff are here as required. We've done comms checks, and we have Malcolm and we have Murphy online with good comms. Fingers crossed it stays that way. Staff apologies, we have a few tonight. Deputy GM is away, also the airport manager, Chris, is away. Any other staff apologies tonight? We'll just note those when we get to their reports, their respective reports later on.
I'll be doing Charlotte's report.
All right, and Charlotte won't be in tonight either. Okay, thank you. Media attendance, as just noted, the meeting is being test filmed tonight and recorded, and media, of course, is present. Public attendance, on behalf of King Island Council, I welcome all interested King Island constituents that are here in our gallery this afternoon, and also those who will listen to the recording afterwards. For the opening statement, would everyone please stand? Councillors, to begin this meeting, I ask you to stand in silence to pray or reflect on our responsibilities to the people of King Island. We begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay our respects to their elders, past and present. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. Thank you. Please resume your seats. We have no new staff or farewells to note this month, so in lieu of item 3 presentations, I'll just make a couple of following announcements and notices. Firstly, on behalf of the Council, congratulations to Jessica and George Cox, who completed their coastal circumnavigation of the whole of King Island today to raise money and awareness for mental health. Councillor Allen walked part of that journey with them. They finished in very good time and in very good shape about 1 p.m. the Savo and Charles Street. I went down there to give them a couple of challenge coins. It's a great physical achievement for a great cause, and they would have seen parts of the island perhaps nobody has ever seen before. Their photos are amazing, and surprisingly, they saw no snakes. So there'll be plenty of follow-up articles, and so far they've raised more than $10,000, and I'm sure we're sure that amount will keep climbing. So well done to Jess and George. Secondly, please note for your diaries, and also just for those who will watch the recording, the new OS Alert system will conduct a national test on Monday the 27th of July at 2 p.m, so next Monday. This new system goes to all mobile phones and will sound an unfamiliar but distinct alarm, and then a prompt screen will come up with the nature and urgency of any specific emergency. There's plenty of ads running at the moment. This is a new system that goes to every mobile phone in the country, so be aware that system will be tested on all of our phones, and they'll all go off, or should all go off, next Monday at 2 p.m. 2026 is the year of a census. Every 5 years, the Australian Bureau of Statistics counts every person and household in Australia. This is called the Census of Population and Housing. Our next census is a few weeks away, Tuesday the 11th of August. The census form asks questions about your age, your country of birth, your cultural background, your living situation, your work and education. In the census, every answer matters to help us understand what Australia needs now and into the future. Census data is used to inform decisions about transport, schools, healthcare, infrastructure and business. It also helps plan local services for individuals, families and communities. And of course, correct and current census data also helps King Island with our many causes. The census is compulsory. Everyone in Australia on census night must be included on a census form. So a reminder, Tuesday, the 11th of August. It's only a few weeks away. And lastly, just to quickly cover off on the Tasmanian Council elections that are coming up soon, confirming the key dates for the upcoming Tasmanian Council elections. Notice of elections will be issued by the Tasmanian Electoral Commission on the 5th of September. Candidate nominations will then open from the 7th of September. Candidate nominations will close on the 21st of September. The polling period by candidate booklet and mail ballots will be between the 5th and the 27th of October. A secure ballot box is also usually installed here in our council for hand drop-off ballots, isn't it? Closing day will be the 27th of October. So as a result, King Island Council will enter a reduced tempo caretaker mode for the elections running through September and October, with our council meetings still run to transact routine administrative business. A reminder, voting in the council elections is compulsory by mail ballots for all locally registered voters. All adults and those that have recently become adults and reside in this electorate should ensure they are enrolled to vote to exercise their democratic right. The outcome of the elections is anticipated to be around the 27th of October, and the new council will then be sworn in early November. King Island councillor numbers will reduce from 9 to 7 with the new council, and they will receive improved pay. We strongly encourage all King Islanders with a willingness to serve to consider running for King Island Council. Those that are interested, there's an LGAT candidate information booklet which I've got here in front of me. We have a pile of those in our council foyer. They're also available online, so do yourself a favour and check those out. And I also urge any interested candidates to start putting in the research and study, and also start attending these council meetings physically, so you can see and learn more about what councils do and better understand what you might be getting yourself into if you do run and if you do get elected. So, Tasmanian Council elections. All right. So item 3, there were nil presentations. Those notices were in lieu of that. Item 4, there were nil contributions to the community for this month. Over to item 5, public questions. In accordance with what is considered an acceptable question below, if a constituent in our gallery wishes to ask a question or questions without notice, I'll allow a minimum of 15 minutes public question time. Does anyone in our gallery wish to ask a question without notice? Faye, at your discretion. Okay, no worries. Thank you. All right, we'll move on. Item 6 is declaration of interests. Are there any for the ordinary agenda this afternoon? No? Good. Move along. Item 7 is questions without notice by a councillor. Does any councillor have a question or questions without notice this afternoon? All right. We'll move on. Item 8, notices of motion. There are nil for this month, so we'll go straight on to item 9, confirmation of the previous minutes. Our last ordinary council meeting was last month on the 16th of June. That was the meeting that passed our new financial year budget and annual plan. Those minutes have been compiled and distributed. If councillors are happy, would somebody like to move receipt of those minutes? Councillor Ira Cook has moved. A seconder. Councillor Rowan Cook has seconded. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. One was 7 of 9. So, you still with us? Cool. Carried unanimously. Yes, 7 of 9. Okay, thanks. All right, over the page to Mayor's Diary, 10.1, item 10.1, Mayor's Diary for June 2026. I'm, of course, the council officer responsible for my diary. Just a couple of quick things before calling for a mover and a seconder. On the 18th of June, we held our first King Island Council Airport Board meeting for the year. The minutes are being compiled at the moment. We're a little slow with them. That's definitely an improvement for me that I'll take on board, but it's a work in progress. Those minutes should be out soon, so stay tuned. Whilst we were away at Elga late last month, I'd like to thank the Deputy Mayor and the Deputy GM for sitting in for myself and the GM when attending the Taswater meeting, which was an important and robust meeting. that we needed representation at, and also hosting Minister Felix Ellis when he visited here on King Island. So thank you to the Deputy Mayor and DGM for sitting in for those important visits and events in our absence. Our attendance at the Australian Local Government Association annual convention this year was a big event and a great event. Myself, the GM, Councillor Ira and Leah attended as a team. Again, it was, as always, an honour for us to represent our council in Canberra at this huge event. We attended the regional forum, we attended the National General Assembly, we voted on all of the hundreds of motions that were put up this year. Interestingly, the event total numbers for the event this year were actually down a few hundred or two. There was a few hundred less votes this year than there normally is. Harder for us to work out the reasons why, but anyway, numbers were attending the event this year weren't as large as last year or recent years. But anyway, it was still a massive event, and we certainly enjoyed it and did our best to represent King Island. Whilst we were in Canberra, we visited Federal MP Anne Urquhart and her team. They generously gave us a great backstage tour of the working accommodation of both the House of Reps and the Senate, and the ministerial wing and the Prime Minister's suite in Parliament House, which was fantastic. And she also arranged face-to-face time for us with the Principal Advisor to the Federal Transport Minister to talk about King Island aviation access issues in our airport, which was a great opportunity for us. So we did some great face-to-face advocacy in Parliament House. Along the way, we got to meet the Speaker of the House of Reps, Milton Dick, who invited us in totally unexpectedly and quickly hosted us for a quick visit into the Speaker's suite of the House's suite. And we also attended a cohort function in Canberra as well with other attendees at Elga. So it was a great event, a successful event. We did our best to represent our issues, and also it's always great to meet the many characters, other mayors, deputy mayors, councillors and council staff from around the country that we've gotten to know over the last few years. Catch up with a lot of those characters again at Elga, which was a great event. And I certainly strongly recommend, I think we all agree, we as a council continue to attend Elga every year. It's a very important and invaluable forum for us to be represented at, and it's also a great networking opportunity, not only amongst fellow councillors around the country, but also the ability to go up the hill and have doors open at Parliament House for when all the mayors in town. So strongly recommend we continue to attend Elga each year, with as many as we can afford as a council to send in the future. All right, so I'll get a mover and a seconder, and then I'm happy to take more questions and or comments. Councillor Layla, you happy to move? Thank you. Councillor Green has seconded. Councillor Layla, questions for you if you want to keep on.
Obviously another busy month for you as Mayor, and a couple of things. The staff gym session, sounds exciting. So you're all building muscle and...
Yes, look, the council are using some of its training budget to facilitate some exercise classes on a Friday morning, early, before work. It's been a team of 10 from the council. I pile in as well, and I enjoy it. I think it's been a good initiative. It's good team bonding. It's good fitness. In the future, again, depending on our budget, we may or may not grow the initiative, but it's got off to a good start, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. I think it's not just about, when you come to work, you want your staff to be healthy, and I certainly think since we've been doing it, productivity has increased. So certainly probably one of the better initiatives in terms of developing staff, and I've done it previously in other organisations, and it always reaps the benefits.
It's certainly something that's positively encouraged through WorkSafe Tasmanian Health and Wellbeing. It's really important.
Through that we've also tested our new shower and locker room next door, which works a treat. No shortage of hot water, beautiful fresh hot water on those early Friday mornings. I can vouch for that.
The other one was, I was wondering if you'd be able to share the not tonight, but the details of the Principal Aviation Advisor, and whether we could send the transport and freight statement to them, and I'd like to send a Chamber of Commerce one to back up what you've already been saying.
Sure.
And the other thing, I suppose, on that note was just to confirm that the council statement has been approved, because I was told that we were waiting for approval on that. Have we finalised that? Is it
Council-
gone out to relevant?
Which yeah, through GM to Narelle.
Yeah, through the mayor. So the three position papers on aviation, they're likely to go to a council workshop with the GM's concurrence. So we'll just need to plug that in for a workshop to have them approved.
Next
Right, yeah, yep, okay. So, yep, I'll talk further, catch up later on.
And just on the aviation advisor, the principal aviation advisor to the Federal Transport Minister, he was quite familiar with us, and it was excellent time spent with him, wasn't it? Particularly advocating to obviously the importance of aviation for King Island and the fact that we are like Norfolk and Lord Howe, but we don't get any of the assistance they do, and particularly discussing our airport CSO, community service obligation business plan with him, and the fact that we're going to need help from some level or other into the future if our airport continues to be loss-making. And that was, we had Anne Urquhart with us, right there with us, part of the conversation. Always good to have her riding shotgun for any of our lobby efforts. And there's more to follow. We're waiting for a few follow-ups from that meeting and a few other things, but we'll pass that on to you when that's available.
Just on that point, I note that ERA, Connie Steers, and possibly Gabriella Conti are coming to the island between the 3rd and the 5th to talk all things aviation. So we sort of need to have that paperwork approved.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've sent out a copy of the transport and freight statement already to them because they had asked for more information, and they're going to meet with the transport and freight group as well. So maybe I'll sit down with you and the deputy.
And just to let all councillors know, because it came out of the blue for us, unbeknownst to us last month, State Growth, before they've now gone on to become Building Tasmania, whatever they've changed their name to, the artist formerly known as, they initiated a new transport strategy for Bass Islands, but they've initiated this new strategy and scoped it without our consultation, which disappointed us considerably. Because we want to make sure they're asking the right questions and the scope is focused in the right here and now 2026 and not being dusted off from 15 years ago. So we're a bit upset about that, to say the least. So we went back and returned salvo on that and tried to shape and influence and change their approach in the here and now, and they seem to have taken that on board. It is the consultants that have been appointed by State Growth, Building Tasmania, that are planning to visit for community consultation in August. Dates to be confirmed yet. But again, because of the nature of how this has come about and how it's spun off straight away to the consultants, we're trying to keep a handle on it and trying to shape it, but there's a lot more information to follow, and obviously this will develop as we go.
Yep, so that's definitely, 3rd to the 5th. They've confirmed that with me, both.
That's a busy week for us too.
And they've also, Building Tasmania is keen to have their Director of Transport Systems on the attending Transport and Freight Group stuff as well.
Excellent.
So that's it's all positive.
That's good.
It's great.
As soon as we firm up the visit by these consultants, the nature of the visit, who they want to talk to, how long are they going to be here for, deconflicted. We've got a couple of other things happening that week, first week of August. We've got the digital uplift happening that week. We've got some Regional Development Australia attending. So deconflicting all of those and avoiding any double up. We'll make sure we've got it covered, and there's a lot more information to follow. But again, the state is keen to update and revise its transport strategy for Bass Strait Islands. So we'll give them credit for that, and we'll try and shape a good outcome for this. And obviously it's an initiative that's fully funded from the state, and they are going to appropriate a reasonable amount of funding to see this study through. So more information to follow, but yeah.
So through the Mayor, I'm just wondering how this will be different to the access strategy that's already been done through Stephen Farquhar's team, and whether or not it's actually come through from Stephen Farquhar's team, because I do feel like it might be a bit of a double up when they've already got the strategy that I don't think's been adopted yet, and I think what we shared during the workshop with sorry, I forget the name of the branch he works in, that we were really interested in the actions out of that strategy. And is this one of the actions out of that strategy or not? Because it seems a bit, I don't know, it seems like the cart before the horse a little bit before in terms of the work we're doing that needs to align with the access strategy. I'm a bit confused with how this one's popped up.
Yeah, so we definitely
I'll
have
give you
some
a copy
tidy up
of
and
my letter.
deconfliction to do in that space.
I'll send you a copy of the letter that I've got, because it only really talks about, it doesn't talk about the aviation access, but I understood that Steve Farquhar's, he'd asked me whether he could share the strategic priorities and action framework from the Transport and Freight Group with them, so I'm assuming that they are working together, but how it's all, the order of it all.
Yeah, so we've got a bit of work to do in this space. We've got some deconfliction to do and a bit of reshaping. Also, we've given these authorised consultants a range of information to start them off, but we've been a bit fussy because obviously we've just finished that big data scrub that was our hard work and hard graft as a council and all of our tourist reps and everybody else. That's highly contextual information as to how that's interpreted and whatever else. And also we're wary of sharing proprietary council information with outside organisations at this point in time too, until we better understand what they're all about. Because obviously our pavement reviews of our airport complex and whatever else are just being finished at the moment. We don't yet know what the priority is, what the costs are, so we may be in a position to share that down the track, but we're not sharing that proprietary information right now.
Yeah, so that was why I was very clear when with the transport and freight things is more of a statement and excluded a lot of the stuff because Narelle had already, and Brian had already picked that up in their first draft. And so that's pretty basic. The Chamber of Commerce one is focused on the economic impact. So I'm hoping that that will complement each other.
Yeah, that's good.
And not stepping into each other's space.
And I know I speak on all of our behalf, acknowledging the great work that the Chamber have done and also the Transport and Freight Council Committee you've done on the sidelines. It's helped us out a heap. So please keep up the good work there. Councillor Allen, next question for you.
Yeah, this is probably a question for both you and Councillor Labour. I'm just trying to understand how all this lobbying works for transport and air access. So we've got a Chamber of Commerce has a strategy position that they've worked out themselves, and then we've got the Transport and Freight Group's been busy working on these things, and then we've got the council themselves has another position. Maybe mirroring each other, but it's
So we've been we're working very closely together, so that we all don't. So we have complementary papers, and don't, So we've been very careful to try and not, just to complement each other, not go into each other's spaces. So that, though obviously the Chamber of Commerce has an economic aspect. But we have been sharing lots of information together and making sure it's...
And it's an evolving process. It's a team effort. It has to be a team effort. We've all got skin in this game. We know. And I must say, community and business industry attendance at the Transport and Freight Group so far has been disappointing. So we pony up and deliver these additional committees at council expense and run them and staff them and administer them, available for community concerns, and then turnout is poor.
We would like to see more, but we are still getting, it's not a bad turnout. We just like to see more, but it could be better. But what I'm ensuring to do is engaging with all those stakeholders in between times, so people who are unable to get to meetings, and they're feeding back to me. So that's where some of my questions around certain things came up. So we are working out hard, aren't we, Rowan, to ensure that we engage in not necessarily meeting formats.
Yeah, and certainly in the meantime, as far as our council priorities are concerned, we're very clear about these. Our council concerns at the moment for aviation access or aviation are twofold. First and foremost, aviation access year-round for King Island, capacity and availability and airfare prices, and Sharp and Rex and anyone else who might pile in the future. Obviously, that's priority number one. And priority number two is alleviating our loss-making airport, getting our airport complex covered in some shape or form so that our ratepayers don't have to. So there are our two main fronts as far as the council entity is concerned, and we rely on the committee and the Chamber of Commerce and whatever else to do a lot more of the detailed work and the detailed analysis and help back us up with our advocacy pitch on those two main fronts.
Can I just add?
Yeah, definitely.
Through the Mayor, so Councillor Allen, so this come about from a council perspective during the aviation meeting that we had with key stakeholders. They requested that council did a bit more in this space in terms of the advocacy that we'd already done to date, the future advocacy. Then there was discussions around the economic impacts in terms of the reductions of flights. So effectively there were three pieces of this, and the Chamber had been working on a piece anyway, and Narelle's pulled together all of those requests from the meeting, from the community, to be able to, so when we do go and advocate, we've got all this information. The plan will be that this will come to probably the August workshop to discuss, but it's still a usable document, I think, even without the workshops, because a lot of it just contains factual information in terms of stats and economic impact. So there is a position around basically the sustainability of aviation for the island. So there'll be more to come over the next few weeks.
And just to reassure Councillor Allen, because I know he has an interest around the tourism space, we got lots of feedback from tourist operators, which we have included into the Chamber, and that's...
Yes, and as per the message sent out last week, our next key industry external stakeholders conference for aviation access has been postponed to the 3rd of September because many are away at the moment, and we want as many industry representatives part of that next gathering as possible going forward from there. So 3rd of September.
Yeah, and just, sorry, another point, not just tourists as well. So we are looking at the impacts on the seafood industry in terms of the added investment that they've had to do to ensure that they can get their product off the island, and they're having to invest more because of the reduction in flights than what they would normally be investing.
And so King Island Promenades will be another example
Yeah.
of that as well.
Councillor Allen.
Yeah, just my follow-up question, just sort of just confirm the idea behind the establishment of the Transport and Freight Group was basically to have one agreed voice for the island when it comes to transport and freight, which includes airport access. Would that be pretty much on the...
Well, the role of all subordinate council committees is to get into the technical detail and do what they need to do, get across the technical detail, and then consolidate that in accordance with council policy and guidance, and then make recommendations to council for council to then decide or agree or decide or otherwise where we go forward from there and what our priorities are. So they're a body that does a lot of the legwork and gets stuck into the data and has a better and more deeper understanding of that particular industry than we can as mayor or councillors. And through that expertise, they then make decision-making recommendations for the council for us to crack on with. It's the same with all committees. So the committee doesn't represent us. They recommend us and they do a lot of good work, but at the end of the day, we'll make decisions in the interest of the council, accepting or not accepting whatever they recommend to us.
Yeah, just I think historically one of the failings of the previous freight group, was it freight group? Shipping group, was that it ended up getting a fragmented message, not just from the shipping group, but from all the various interested parties, and it created confusion with the decision makers further up the chain who were saying, well, right, we're hearing this, but this conflicts from this. So King Island, the question was, King Island, what do you actually want? So I just say that because I just, hearing all these different interested parties, we could be going down the same route there, just a little bit of wisdom perhaps coming down there. Also too, I'm wary of when it becomes issues to do with airline access, there's been times when the council message has been in direct conflict with the message coming from the Tourism Association. So I think we've got a bit of work to make sure our lobbying is sharper and consistent across all areas.
Look, we are, in spite of recent setbacks and challenges on that front, we're making progress, and I know we'll talk about that progress when we get to the aviation or airport report a little later. We'll save some of it for that. But I'll just finish on, whilst I was away on leave, I was hosted by the Mayor of the Gold Coast, Tom Tate, City of the Gold Coast, Australia's second biggest council, $2.7 billion budget. What fantastic hosts they were. They don't get visited by too many other councils, especially a council like ours. So they were great and generous hosts to me, and I really enjoyed visiting them. And we sat down for a couple of hours and had a really good discussion about economic development, aviation access, tourism, all those sorts of things, development, of course, and it was invaluable. So, whoever will be mayor in the future, and councillors and deputy mayor and council staff, as you do travel around the country on duty or on leave, by all means take the opportunity to go and visit other councils, establish relationships with them. We can learn things from each other. One mayor or deputy mayor or GM would never turn another one away because of solidarity, and we can always learn a lot from each other and have a good laugh in the process. So the Gold Coast was an impressive council city to visit. It should be a Lord Mayor, but he doesn't want to be out of principle. So again, I kind of rate that from how big they are. So I'll just finish on that. Any final questions or discussion relating to my diary? Just confirming it was Councillor Laidler who moved it, Councillor Green who seconded, so we're good to go. All those in favour to accept a diary, carried unanimously. Over the page to, and just before we go into item 11.1, I just make note that there is no financial report today or tonight in this month's agenda because of the close-off of the financial year, and obviously we've just started the new financial year. So that'll catch up with us next month. Item 11.1 is the Community and Culture Report for July. Murphy is the council officer responsible, and here with us online to deliver her first report of this nature to council. So Murphy, great to have you online. So before I call for a mover or a seconder, Murphy, it's at your discretion if you'd like to just mention anything, any specific mentions, or we can take the report as read.
Yeah, I'd just like to take the report as read, please.
Okay, thank you. Someone like to move the report? Councillor Green has moved. Councillor Ira has seconded. Thank you. So Councillor Green, you can kick off with anything you'd like to.
I'd just like to say welcome, Murphy, to your new role, and I wish you every success, and I'm sure you're going to get your head around it very quickly. And
Thank you, Dana.
happy with your report so far.
The new mural that was done by Katie Barron and the students in the harbour area is excellent. We want more of those in the future. It's a great initiative, a job well done. So that's great. And I just want to make the point that we're doing a lot more on social media as far as advertising council events, activities and other things. Just make sure that myself as the mayor and councillors and key staff make sure we give ourselves old-fashioned or old-school invitations. Because I'm not on social media much. Yes, I'm a Cold War era dinosaur, no doubt about it. But make sure that we get us councillors and me, especially the mayor, make sure I get a proper invitation to council events or tipped off about council events that we should know about and we should be prepared for and we should be representative at. Don't assume we're reading and delving into social media for hours a day. So I just want to make that point. Councillor Laidler.
And I just wanted to reinforce that because I missed the last event and I heard some really great news about it. So it's really great to get that more personal invite, particularly when we're overloaded.
And we're keen to support. We want to support these activities, and by and large we'll pile in and turn out. And if you need to wheel me in as mayor, I will do everything I can to make sure that we're represented properly. Take a lot of the public speaking off your plate and whatever else. So it's a win-win arrangement. But yeah, just make sure we get a good old-fashioned invite, please, and we're tipped off about it. And just don't assume that we're as big as social media as the Gen Z and the younger ones are these days. So I think I made my point. Councillor Laidler.
I had an introduction to Tamara. So I would be actually keen to find a little bit more out about the Community Resilient Action Plan. I don't think we've met Tamara at a workshop level as yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I have missed a few. So it'd be really good to have her along to one of our workshops. We are a good stakeholder group to engage with. So I'm really looking forward to working with her. And note that the action plan surveys are out there, and that we should all endeavour to respond to that, either from an individual or a group's perspective. I'm looking forward to the next SPIN meeting, get together, and I would like to catch up at some stage to talk about that with Murphy. And just welcome on board.
Yeah, good point, Councillor Layla. Just on the with the community development report, because that's a large, juicy portfolio. Generally, the community development report will come in every month to a council. For the community resilience, like economic development, the GM is working on a quarterly report to council, aren't you? So hopefully those reps will be in here to back up and be with us for their quarterly report.
Yeah, through the Mayor, I think it'd be a good opportunity for them to at least give an update and brief on where they're at, whether or not it's at the stage of a full workshop. I'm not too sure, but at least they can front up and have a chat and let them know what you're doing, and potentially what other support can be provided by councillors if there are any external workshops happening as well. So I haven't seen anything myself yet, but I will talk with staff and see if we can get something for the August workshop.
Thanks, Murphy. Glad you've settled into the role. Keep up the good work, you and Georgia and the rest of the team. And yeah, that's it. So no further questions then, or discussion related to Councillor Rowan?
I just really enjoyed the mural that Katie did on the bathroom. Looks really good. I also want to say thank you to Katie for gifting a beautiful oil painting of a brie cheese as a boat sailing. Whereabouts can I actually view this gift? I've become quite...
It's still down at the studio because she did it on a flat canvas. So I'm hoping to get it framed, and then I'll hang it wherever. Open to suggestions on where to hang it.
Yeah, okay. Maybe at the Cultural Centre?
Yeah. And in the future, we'd definitely love to have a colourful mural painted on the sign of the senior sit shop down the bottom corner down there. But obviously there's a bit of work that needs to be done with the rust and the surface finishing on it before. But in the future, as you're driving to town, coming down the hill there, it'd be great to see a specky mural on the side of that senior sit shop. So plant that seed and see if an opportunity might present itself in the future for that. All right, no further questions. Just confirming it's been moved by Councillor Green and it was seconded by Councillor Ira Cook. So we'll go to a vote. All those in favour to receive the report? Carried unanimously. Over the page to item 12, 12.1, operations report for June. Murphy, you're free to go now. Thanks very much. But you can stay and listen to the meeting at your discretion. No problems. 12.1, operations report. Nanda is the responsible officer, of course. So Nanda, at your discretion, any specific mentions you'd like to raise, over to you, or we'll take the report as read. All right, thanks. We'll get a mover and a seconder. Councillor Layla has moved. Thank you. A seconder. Councillor Green has seconded. Councillor Layla, if you can start us off with any questions, you're welcome to.
Been very busy as usual. I note the Narracoopa Jetty information. We did meet earlier on before with the Narracoopa Progress Association before the works had been done. So looking forward to another catch up to share with them. Somewhere, was it here or was it somewhere else? I read, no, it's in actions. I'll leave it to actions. I won't confuse you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's great to see the first technical update on the Narracoopa Jetty. That's excellent. Hopefully more good news will follow. And as we head into months of better weather in the near future, some of those works can be done in priority order. That's great. Obviously, we've had a heap of rain so far this winter, probably more to come. Looks like things are going to get blustery again tomorrow and Thursday. Quite a few potholes. Some of them are very familiar to us. They open up every couple of years. They're opening up again. We know your team's getting onto it and working on it. But in particular, the kelp track at the moment is a bit holed up. So I know you'll get around to that when the time is right. But otherwise, again, a reminder to all King Island constituents, where potholes have opened up or corners have washed out or whatever else, get a service request into us as soon as possible so we can prioritise it and action it from there. because we know there'll be plenty more issues that come up as winter continues, and no doubt plenty more rainfall to come based on the current forecast. Councillor Allen?
Thanks, Mayor. Through you, Mayor, just with the restoration work of the potential restoration work of the Narracoopa Jetty, is that if any of the timber is replaced, are there any plans for the timber, if that happens?
No, there is no plans for the timber yet. We don't
Okay.
have any plans for it.
Yeah, I'll just throw in an idea. I was at the Narracoopa Progress Association meeting, and we were talking about ideas to do with seating, whatever else, and how delightful it would be if we could reuse that beautiful weathered timber of the jetty to make seating and other what do you call street furniture? Yeah. Street furniture, yeah. And apparently years ago, unfortunately, the solution was to burn some of it. So So if you just put in the back of your mind that there'd be a really good retasking.
Definitely.
possibility.
Most probably, so majority of the beams and all those things, the bigger, structural materials, they are going to be reused, they are going to be removed, and they are going to be repaired and reused. Decking material is the one which is going to be replaced, but few of them are rusted, few of them are okay. But if there is something very suitable for that cause, we are definitely open.
Yeah, if you could keep the decking timber, I'm sure that the group could put it to really good use. Even if rotten bits, we can cut out the rotten bits and retask it really beautifully over there at Narracoopa.
And a couple of good beams or cross beams or whatever you call it, probably go to the museum as well, given how long the jetty stood there and its historical importance to us. That'd be good. But yeah, no, it's a good idea, and it's going to be pretty. If it's survived this long and all of it's been through, it's going to be pretty well preserved. The timber's going nowhere.
Well, if it can survive the sea, it can survive a couple of people sitting on it occasionally.
Yeah, absolutely. Councillor Logan.
And just on that point, I just that it's pleasing to hear that council's going to help support, well, out of the reserve funds, the repainting of the railings. Even though the association was willing to do the painting, it was on review of the timber. We needed to have it much more pressure, washed down and decent paint use so that it lasts a bit longer this time. So they're very happy about that.
Any more questions or points of Councillor Ira?
Not really important, I suppose, but a few months ago one of the workers had a bad incident and was carted off to hospital. Is he fully back at work and completely okay again now? Or?
Yeah, he's completely all right. He's back to work on full duties.
Okay.
There are no restrictions or anything like that. He's safe to work with us on the council.
Oh, that's good. Good result.
Yeah, you're referring to Marco? Okay, so
He's well and all right, and he's he's full on full duties now.
That's great.
We have the certificates which says that he's completely fine, and he's back on duty.
Yeah. Mindful of confidentialities. That's great news, and we need his experience. Like all of our employees, we need all of our experienced employees. They're experienced now more than ever. Great to have him back at work with us, and I know when any of us see him around in the near future, we'll definitely go and pat him on the back, doff the hat, so to speak. So that's good news. Any final points, or any final questions or points of discussion? Just confirming that this report has been moved by Councillor Laidlaw, it's been seconded by Councillor Green. We'll go to a vote to receive the report. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Over the page, item 13.1, Airport Services Report for June. The responsible officer is Chris. He's not with us tonight, he's actually on leave at the moment. So we'll take the report as read. We'll move and second it, and then we'll delve into it a little bit. Somebody like to move the report for discussion? Councillor Rowan has moved. A seconder? Councillor Ira has a second. Councillor Rowan moved. Councillor Ira seconded. Councillor Rowan, you can start off with questions or discussion points.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I was just, it's probably maybe more in Chris's jurisdiction here, but maintain the current emergency management and recovery plan as per legislation. It was identified the document review, the aerodrome emergency plan governance and response are requiring updates. Any comments on that?
Anything you can share with us? I mean, we have to run an airport crash drill every 2 years, I believe, an actual one that involves all players, all first responders, and external observers come in to tick all the compliance boxes, so to speak. And then every other year, a compliance desktop can be done in its place. And out of that, there's always updates required for emergency manuals and.
Through the Mayor, same as all councils' sort of policies, and that we do have to review and update them from time to time. You'll see later on in the agenda there's a couple other ones, so it's just highlighting the fact that it is due for review. It could mean there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but we still got to go through that process of reviewing it, and as the Mayor highlighted, potentially testing it as well.
I think I was more curious as to what those actual updates might actually be, just wording things or like potential scenarios or...
No, we haven't actually got to that stage of it's just identifying that it's required to be done. So we'll work on that over the next few weeks and be able to come back with what those updates might be, if anything.
Yep.
Councillor Myra?
What are the obstacles on the flight paths from Narracoopa and Grassy? Top of page 24, bottom of page 23.
Yeah, I wonder if it's talking about trees, or I wonder if it's talking about the Gentilani Tower or things of that nature. There's not too much high terrain out there. The tower would be the highest thing.
So it is the through the Mayor, it is the overlay that's identified. So as trees get higher, and I think it's not going all the way back to Grassy. It's just from trying to identify the area it's coming from. So quite often the trees do get to a level where if we don't cut them or we're not permitted to cut them, then they may have to change their flight paths or drawing sort of. I'm sort of guessing, but I recall Chris saying that if we don't cut them, then they change how they drop, which means under certain circumstances, I think it's 400 metres of visibility they must have before they land. If the trees are at a certain height, that may be raised to 600, which means obviously that when the weather's not too good, it may mean that the plane won't be able to land because that 400 changes to 600.
Yeah, just the way this reads, it just reads it over Narracoopa and Grassy. That seems to be a long way away from
I think
tree to be getting up.
It might be the at Narracoopa, the tower, the
the Gentilani. Or the
telecom
Gentilani.
tower.
Oh, yeah, maybe that tower
The
too.
new
The
tower
phone tower.
at Narracoopa.
Yeah, but no, so you're right. There's not much high terrain here, and we'll put that to the airport manager and just see if there's anything we're not aware of on that approach path. And if there is, he can write up a technical explanation for us.
I mean,
I reckon,
Narracoopa's far enough away that you wouldn't be worried about
I reckon
trees.
the new telecom tower at Narracoopa would be something that wasn't previously on their map.
Yeah, and because it does sit on the high ground behind Narracoopa as well, that'd push it up another couple of 100 feet probably. So, yeah, maybe. All right.
Take that on notice.
Yeah, we could have answered our own question there. Aircraft movements have significantly increased, even though we're in a bit of a winter lull this year. Typically, there's reduced tempo, reduced activity. All the helicopter movements for Beach Energy recently have pushed our aircraft movements to higher numbers than we're used to. In some cases, the most in recent years, and also those helicopter evolutions flown by Beach Energy are a good income earner for our council and our airport complex. It's a win-win arrangement, so that's good. And they drink a fair bit of the Jet A1 fuel as well, which turns over the fuel and keeps the fuel fresh. So that's a good working arrangement for our airport at the moment. That's driven up operating figures. I mentioned before, owing to current staff availability and numerous key industry stakeholders away for a winter break, we've postponed our next meeting of the Aviation Access Key Industry Stakeholders to Thursday the 3rd of September. It'll be 11 a.m. in here in the council chambers. More information to follow on agenda will be put out closer to the time. We do have a bit of good news to firstly discuss when we get together. Sharp Airlines have recommenced the Australia Post airmail contract to King Island from the 1st of July this month. That's working very well so far. I'm sure we've all seen it and experienced the benefits of that. Well done. Sharp Airlines continue working to increase and consolidate their Tasmanian services to replace those lost Rex seats underwritten by State Growth. There'll be an announcement on that very shortly. So again, good work and a great return to form by Sharp Airlines. Sharp Airlines did announce last week that they will resume their Essendon King Island services from October this year, underwritten by State Growth. That's out, that's official. Those flights exist now, they're in the booking system, so forward bookings can be made. So that's another good win especially as we head into spring and summer. The daily Rex flight is performing pretty well under the new schedule in winter with high load factors. All of us that have flown on it recently have seen mostly full flights, which bodes well. Our current thinking is that this direct daily return flight needs to be brought forward an hour to optimise a connection window for passengers in and out and to reduce the likelihood of compounding delays that are more likely later in a given day than earlier in a given day. We want to confirm that with key industry stakeholders on the 3rd of September and then go back to Rex formally after that. So all of you, I know, will, but please give that some more thought in the few weeks ahead. Face-to-face advocacy, as mentioned before, was conducted at Parliament House in Canberra with the Transport Minister's staff, and we've also put in some additional new grants, which are business in this meeting, will be discussed further. The data scrub that we've been working on for a while is close to completion, now being fine-tuned by Narelle and the team. Again, it's been a big team effort to put that together. And in spite of the ongoing war in the Middle East, Jet A1 fuel availability and price has remained stable for the time being, and fingers crossed it continues that way. So a little bit of good news in spite of our current challenges in the aviation space as we track towards spring and summer. Any more points of discussion or questions related to this subject matter? Just confirming. Oh, Councillor Allen, yeah.
Yeah, thanks. I just remember we put that beautiful historic display up in the airport. Have we had the official opening of it, or are we planning to cut a ribbon?
Yeah, good question.
Do you want it?
Yeah, I mean, I remember it was, there was some advertisement about it being up and displaying and being open, but you're right, I don't think we ever had any
Yeah,
sort of
I did mention anything,
proper-
but I don't know whether I missed an opening or
No.
the idea didn't get traction.
Well, there's no reason why we can't have we can do our own retest, maybe in the months ahead as we head into spring.
Yep.
We can do a proper retest and proper opening of the bowling. It was the bowling display, isn't it? That wooden display, or the display at the end of the terminal. Yeah, there's no reason why we can't do something. Especially if we've got Sharp over, or Rex over, or whatever like that. Any of their head sheds might be a good opportunity to do that as well.
Air Force.
And yes, tying in our confirmation that it's the bowling terminal, given the history of the field and the long commitment of that great founding family of King Island, so that's important as well. All right, any further questions, points of discussion relating to the aviation or the airport report? I'm just confirming it's been moved by Councillor Rowan, seconded by Councillor Ira. I'll go and vote. All those in favour of receiving the report, carried unanimously. Over the page, item 14.1, council workshops. We've only held the routine workshop, one for the past month, a few weeks back. GM, anything to add?
No.
It's all there. Councillors are happy. We'll move and second and punt this straight through. If somebody would like to move receipt of that, Councillor Ira, thank you. A seconder. Councillor Rowan has seconded. All those in favour? Councillor Allen, you with us?
Oh, yeah,
Sorry. Carried unanimously. Okay. Over to item 14.2, the information report for June. The GM is the responsible officer. Any specific mentions, GM, before we crack through?
No.
Take it as read. Get a mover and a seconder, and then we'll go through section by section as we usually do. A mover for this report, please. Councillor Layla, thank you. Councillor Rowan, happy to second. Is seconding? Just let you catch up with me. Moved and seconded. So we can just go through this section by section as we do, starting with DAs on page 27. You'll see that the workers' camp for G6 is on there down the bottom, which is excellent, and the car wash. The car wash is progressing, so gee, it's a proper official car wash on King Island will definitely be a novelty for all of us. All right, we'll move on. Service requests. Surprisingly, only 7 for June. There'll definitely be plenty more this month, and a backlog of 13, work in progress. Over to procurements. We've cleared that table on account of the new financial year. An update on the community car that was ordered a while back. The new Toyota has been delivered. It's at the dealership in Tassie, and it's got a few optional extras being fitted to it at the moment, like the new bull bar, where they've got nudge bar. They've got to tie. They've got to fix all the airbags up and stuff when they put that on. So that's happening at the moment. So it's not far off and should be delivered soon to the island. So that's great. And obviously the new Iveco rubbish truck has been delivered and is now in service, and it's probably emptied all of our bins already. So our new rubbish truck is up and running, which is good news. We'll move into the actions list. Discretion of councillors. Any questions or points they like to raise? Councillor Labour.
Page 35, the Narracoopa Jetty. I note that we've got completed. I suppose my little concern is around that we still have to do work on the long-term asset management plan. It wasn't included in the one that we've just passed, was it? Specifically, the jetty was Malcolm. I mean, to the mayor to
Through.
the long-term asset management plan for the jetty still is an ongoing thing.
Asset management plan or financial plan. I don't think it is in the financial plan.
Well, it was.
Not until we know.
No, I didn't think it was either, and that's why I'd be concerned about saying it's completed, because we still have that component to work on. It's got ongoing reporting will be addressed in the operations report, and I don't think that component is part of what, because it is really about a new business plan, which the previous one had included maintenance and finance, but I'm pretty certain in the motion, it says long-term asset management plan, which includes financial and otherwise.
Yeah, that's maybe we'll take that one on notice. Because
I think that probably the issue is, what do we put in the long-term asset management plan without knowing what we need to actually do with it? But it is still in the asset management plan though, so that's why I'm sort of a bit confused.
I didn't
so
think
there's
it
been no
was.
financial commitment through it. But certainly it's still part of our assets.
That was the intention of that statement, was for us to have a long-term plan, whether it's financial or asset-based, for the jetty. The wording might not be quite correct.
It's actually a good point, Councillor Laley. I wish Nanda was still here, but obviously he shot through. One of the things, if it's not already in the scope of work that the engineering survey is going to give us of the Narracoopa Jetty, is the remaining asset value or residual value of the asset as a recreational and fishing platform.
No, it's going to give us, because I did the funding application, it's going to give us information on what we can expect for the long-term future of the jetty, what maintenance and also that will then give us information on how much our financial commitment may be.
Because it should still have an asset value to us, especially as a fishing and recreation facility. If nothing else, it'll have an asset value to us.
I think that
as well.
The ideal process for it, Councillor, will be through the annual plan once we've got the information for it.
That's part of the project group.
And then that can come to council at one of the workshops to decide how much investment, if any, gets put towards it without predetermining it.
I agree it has to go to the council.
But it can also be included in the long-term financial plan at that point, when we can say to repair or to whatever is going to cost $1 million. If council would like that to be included in the long-term financial plan, that's something that can be done. But I think the best process for it is through the next annual plan. It's
supposed to be part of this process that we're working on in the funding. I think Brian, I need the Narracoopa Progress probably need to sit down with you and go through that, what the intention of the funding application was, because that was to inform this ongoing process.
Right, and then you could look at external funding, all the different funding sources.
Yes, which they're committed to, and committed to doing volunteer work and to a certain level too. So I think we're looking at a bit more than what we usually do. So we decrease the impact
through
on
the
council.
mayor. I just wonder if we go to Malcolm. Malcolm, are you able to confirm if the jetty is in the long-term financial plan, and
Or if it has an asset value, and if that's
Well,
something we're still interested in. It must have, surely.
Well, three and here we have the jetty which was carried forward, which was in the budget, the 350,000 rehab, which was in the 25-26 budget is carried forward, is now in the 26-27. The council is referring to that, which is 300,000 for external funding of the 350. So that was the carry forward amount regarding the jetty rehabilitation, unless that's another expenditure that's being proposed.
No, that's the grant commitment was, we got 300,000 from the grant. Council was putting $50,000 to that, but we hadn't developed a long-term plan because we were waiting to get this engineering report and structural assessment before we sat down and did long-term financial plan and long-term maintenance plan for the jetty, because they're both linked together.
Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't the jetty incorrectly classified for commercial use rather than recreational use?
In the history of it, it was. Yeah.
So it might make it easier if it's only for recreational use, not commercial use.
Yeah, that's already happened in the
That's how we
recent
frame
council
everything these
terms
days.
now. Yeah.
what I propose is that once we get the in-depth report, then we can build a plan around
That's
the
intent.
jetty.
Yeah.
And then it's not necessarily committing council to any funding. We just understand what the funding or to what standard council's interested in in repairing it or building it back or whatever.
Yeah. It was to be a plan which the Progress Association hoped would be engaged. Well, it says as part of the funding application that the MPA will be engaged in that process.
But I guess the answer to your question,
Moving forward.
it's not in
So it
the
isn't
plan at the
completed.
moment.
No, and so it's not really completed, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. We'll
Is that fair enough?
made those notes. But yeah, hopefully that structural report will give us what based on the engineering, horsepower, give us a safe remaining structural life of the jetty as it currently stands as a recreational facility, and then that can then flow through to the current asset value and works priorities, and all the other parts that should everything else that falls out of that.
Yeah, and through the mayor, we can add in there something like subject to the engineering assessment and council workshops, and then council can then decide which way forward. But that will stay open until that happens.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely.
What else?
Councillor Logan?
Sorry.
Second again.
Sorry. The other one for me is around all the ambulance stuff.
Yeah, I had a follow-up from the last meeting about the construction tendering for the ambulance station, and I did get a response back from them, and the response was the tendering process was launched on the 13th of July for construction tender for the new ambulance station in accordance with the approved design, so that's out. Haven't heard that the tender's been let yet. It might be another few weeks before its tenders close, and then we down a little while after that we'll find out who's the successful tenderer. And at this stage, they are still working towards opening the new facility at the end of 27. But as we move further right, that's probably becoming a bit sketchier.
Yeah.
Ambitious, yes.
I know the ambulance volunteers have expressed concern about this project, and I don't know how we can reassure them that it's happening as fast as it can, but I think that communications with them is really to keep that up. And then the other thing is around the community paramedic. We haven't had any further feedback around the community.
No, it's all gone quiet on that front, certainly from my standpoint.
There's a feeling that it's dead in the water, but I don't know whether that's a fact or
And
not. So it'd be really good to be able to follow that up and see
They had a little
where
bit of
that's at.
internal industrial action about ambulance clinical trades that they needed to sort out as well. I don't know if they've sorted that out. Maybe that's part of it, maybe it isn't. But yeah, if I hear anything, I'll let you know. But you may well hear it first.
Yeah, and the interim amenities, we're waiting for their response still, because I sort of got a little bit of a negative feedback about that as well. Can we chase them up from
Sorry.
or which has it changed? the council to seek to negotiate interim amenities for our volunteer ambulance officers.
So we visited through the mayor, we visited the ambulance staff. They gave us a tour of their current facilities. I think there was a handful of us that attended. We did ask them about suitable in terms of George Street, 5 George Street, in terms of that. There wasn't an interest from them for that location because of, I forget, there was a range of reasons. The impression I got, though, during that visit, that they were happy to stay at their current location, noting that something was going to be built, obviously, in the distant future, but that...
They were probably thinking not too
so
distant.
that was from the horse's mouth, the volunteers themselves.
Okay, cool. I just want to get clarification. on
Yeah,
that.
and
Okay,
again,
so-
we do have the Curdo facility. Is that you mentioned?
Yeah.
5
But
George
we
Street.
did offer it, but
Okay.
there was no interest.
That's that's pretty empty these days, and we'd give them that tomorrow if we could help their cause, and if they want it, it's theirs and available to them. But last chance, last discussion with them, they said they didn't need it. They'll hold out for the new facility.
Yeah, it just,
But if that changes, of course, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see
it
what
just
we
says in here, actions arising, feedback is being sought from volunteers, council is awaiting their response,
need
and we
to
haven't
update
got
that.
their so can we follow up on that and clarify that? It would just probably...
Okay.
I think we still need to keep advocating for the community paramedic or a paramedic full stop, because I think that our volunteers do an absolutely fantastic job, and it's a very demanding job, and I really feel strongly that in this day and age that there's a workload, a very heavy workload on volunteers, and I think the state government needs to take some responsibility there, because we'd be one of the few places in Tasmania that actually doesn't have a paramedic nearby, and I think it is increasingly vital to retain our volunteers, to have some backup for them, because they do an absolutely essential, wonderful service, but again, I'll reiterate that, it's done on a voluntary basis. They don't even, like I know, for example, in Victoria, if you're a volunteer ambulance person in country areas, you actually do get paid a certain amount, and there has been no response or seemingly no recognition for what our volunteers do. And actually how much they're saving the government.
Yeah, we all totally agree with your sentiments there, and noted. And any more in this space that we can contribute to or help or assist, we certainly will. And if any updates that come through, as soon as I hear about it, very shortly thereafter, I'll make sure you hear about it as well.
And we did meet with that sort of top-notch.
Yeah, we did.
guy
Yeah,
doing
the
it, advocating
ambulance
that.
director of the Northwest visited us a couple of months back, and he expects to visit every quarter, and every quarter he visits, he's going to come in and see us and give us an update from the horse's mouth, which is great. Councillor Ira.
Yeah, moving on, page 42, penalty and interest. I don't know whether I'm reading this wrong or not, but council determines that if any rate or instalment is not paid on or before the date it falls due, a penalty of 10% of unpaid rate or instalment is payable, and daily interest charges at prescribed rate is payable in respect. So are we not double dipping there?
Something you can answer, or do you need to go away and check?
We'll take that
Malcolm.
on notice, but my initial
Malcolm can answer.
response is that, actually, Malcolm might be able to answer that.
3.6 on page 42, Malcolm, just the penalty regarding unpaid rate instalments. Page 42, 3.6, penalty and interest. Question from Council Ira was that, is that a double dip? We're already going to ping them 10%, and then we're going to whack another daily interest charge on top of that? Is that... That's not...
Well, the 3M, the 10% applies to any outstanding, right? So from the date for which it's outstanding, so it's an ongoing until the rate's fully paid. If that answers the question, so. So it's for 10. It is 10% on the outstanding balance. Of course, there is an opportunity to consider waiver in certain circumstances, but generally that's the standard process for outstanding rates.
Can I just confirm something in that space in regards to fees and that? Most organisations give you 30 days and send a reminder because you do forget these things, they go missing. I'm embarrassed about my dog rates that I didn't pay until late last year because I missed them totally, and generally it is, and people that are on low incomes and stuff are struggling but intend to pay or don't have internet services, all sorts of things happening at the moment. Just a reminder would be handy.
Yeah, I think there is 30-day period to pay them, but noting that for the dog registrations, we didn't charge any additional penalties or fees throughout that whole year, where some were 10 months late.
I have no issues with that. It's just that a reminder would be helpful, particularly if we're relying upon emails and things that go astray in the system now as well.
Also add that too, we as a small country council, the total rates that an individual property owner owes for the 4 instalments is the total amount divided by 4. There's not an admin fee added for each instalment, because each instalment doesn't carry us, a little bit of admin burden for us. But we don't do that, so that's forward leaning of us.
For dog fees, I'd probably say we do put out a lot of notices telling people that dog registration is up and coming. To our staff to then send out, go through the list, and that's a resource with staff that are already sort of doing multiple things anyway, and I think personal responsibility.
I just think that having that reminder in case something's gone astray, mail's got lost, whatever it may be, is really important.
Through what means?
Well, I don't know how our system works, but generally I know in businesses, you send out your statement after next year. 30-day statement every 30 days to remind people and stuff. But
and
I'm just saying a reminder would be very helpful.
I do note on those reminders there's usually an interest or a penalty
I'm
associated
not arguing
with
about that. I'm just saying a reminder is because somebody who's paid their rates, their dog fees, for example, on a regular basis, I truly did not realise I had not paid my dog fees. I must have been away when they came through, didn't have access to paper printouts, and it just got missed.
Did you get a new set of dog tags with a year date on them?
Yeah,
the new
but
one.
So every time you pat your dog, you got a chance to set a dog tag?
No.
You don't pat your dog?
This year's
I
tags
pat
are
my
red.
dog, but I don't look at my dog tags.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I agree
This
with
year's red
Councillor
tags for
Serena.
dogs. So again, by collar differentiation, dogs that are trotting around like they own the place, unless they have a red tag, they're not street legal at the moment.
Yeah, so I don't even know what colour.
All right.
Aren't we going to
Pet your dog.
Aren't we going to a different tag system though? As I understood it, we weren't going to be issuing a yearly tag, or did I get that wrong somewhere?
I think it is going that way, that they are microchipped. So as long as your dog's microchipped, you can check their registration information. I'm not too sure if we're heading down that path just yet. I know some councils have.
Yeah, I just
where
thought
they've
I
done
heard
away
some
with the
information
tags.
about that, but maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, had a lot on my mind at the moment.
What your car rego? Don't get a sticker anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Gotcha.
We are looking at other ways, and Leah's looking into a couple of platforms at the moment where we can send out bulk reminders. So through an app type system where if you sign up, basically we'll just send reminders, have you paid your dog fees. Makes it a lot easier, but going through and sending individual emails at the moment could be a little bit onerous. But we're getting close at looking at a couple of app solutions where we can actually send this out. There's a couple there that we're currently looking at, which will make things easier. Any type of message could be sent out from road closures to remind her about dog fees and remind her about rates and others. So that's in the pipeline, Leah?
Correct,
Yeah.
yes. And
Yeah.
we also, I know they have been looking at lifetime tags for the dogs, so I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we know that some dogs will just chew the tags off, or they'll be lost in misadventures, and so we know that a lot of them are going to get lost along the way because of what dogs do. Councillor Oram.
Yeah, can we get back to my
Sorry?
question about
Yes.
the penalties? I think the way it reads there, it looks like it's double dipping. It maybe could be solved if we just reworded that instead of take out the word and just put instalments payable calculated daily or something like that.
This is our policy.
Yeah, through the Mayor. We'll take that on notice, Councillor. I'm just concerned that this might be legislated and what we must do. I'm not too sure, and I think Annie is probably the best one to be able to answer that. So we'll take it on motion and provide an update tomorrow about whether or not we can change that or not. I just don't have enough information about it.
We definitely, and yes, our rates have just gone up this financial year, of course, more than we wanted it to. We're very forward-leaning. If anyone misplaces their invoices or they don't get them or the dog eats them, pardon the pun, etc., and they come into the council, they'll quickly be sorted out. They won't be penalised, given the benefit of the doubt. That happens every second day.
Quite often
we hear it out here. No problems.
Yeah, and I have the delegation to be able to approve a write-off in terms of penalties regarding that. So it does happen on a regular basis if there's good reason.
Sorry, did that Councillor Cook? Ira, are you happy with that? Does that? We'll take it on the notice. We'll get back to you and double check. All right, Councillor Rowan was next. Sorry, Councillor.
Yeah,
Rowan.
okay, changing gears, pun intended. 1912 Vulcan motor vehicle, where are we?
What's the latest on that?
I know
Through
we're
the
in
minutes.
progress and we had a workshop, but
Yeah, so I can report that I haven't spoken with Fred about this yet, but I have spoken with Fred about the car in general. He still is making repairs on it. So recently he did with Dale swapped out the spark plugs. I haven't yet had the conversation with him. I think that's what was agreed, that we would talk to him about whether or not there was any appetite to relax the agreement. But no, that's still work in process, that one. But I've got Fred's number, I've got his wife's number as well, so I'll be able to get him back in to have another chat about that particular thing. We spent a couple of days looking for the new horn, so I'm hopeful that we found that as well. So we did. Oh, thank God. So it's still in situ at the moment.
Yeah, we don't have an answer for that yet. It's a work in progress, but always hopeful that a solution might present itself as we progress.
To be honest, he didn't mention anything about it going back in or anything when I met with him. So I still feel that he's still doing quite a bit of work on it. So yeah. Do you know any more than that? Sorry,
Well, I was under the impression he'd finished the work and was wanting to get him back into the terminal.
Okay.
But,
That's probably the latest there. Then.
Okay. All right, we'll follow up on that in the weeks ahead.
But he changes his mind daily.
Is his surname? Oh, right.
Councillor Allen.
Thanks, Mayor. Just my favourite, Memorial Park. Coming through winter, people love to go to parks in sort of spring and summer. I understand the delays with getting that work done is mostly outside our hands. Is there any other way we could go about it so we could actually turn the first sod of getting this small project started with the land title bit just simmering away in the background?
We'll have to take that on notice as well, Councillor. I know Jess is getting a lot closer with the lawyers, so they've agreed to do this final bit of work, so they're going ahead with that. So my understanding is that we're a lot closer than what we were a month ago, but I'll need to take that on notice and check in with Jess, who's leading that bit of work in terms of what we can do in the meantime.
I understand that because with these people that aren't in this room, like the lawyers, a lot closer does not actually mean within this next decade, does it? You know, like it's within this millennium or something. So,
yeah.
And quite often the people have actually moved on to another job and someone else lands on someone else's.
That's lawyers
so,
for
so
you, isn't it?
like, you know, honestly, their concept of much closer might be slightly different than what I would say.
True.
Please, they're not doctors. So pleased. Yeah, no, I just would see so beneficial if we could just take the plunge and say, all right, you know, we might turn the first sod, and then lo and behold, they do it. So we're going to all that trouble for nothing. Well, however, to actually start it and have something constructed in there, you know, got that beautiful white fence around the cannon. Yeah, it'd be nice to just scrape the dust off the building supplies up there in the depot.
I have a updated email from Jess. I just can't recall exactly what it says, but I'll check it later on. I'll come back to you.
Yeah, it'd be just good. Yeah, thank you.
All right, in the interest of time, we better crack on. Any more questions then related to the information report from the GM? Just confirming, it was moved by Councillor Layla, it was seconded by Councillor Rowan Cook. So if councillors are satisfied, we'll go forward and vote on this. All those in favour to receive the report? Carried unanimously. Across to item 14.3, Regional Airports Program Round 5. Given the state of our airport and the critical importance of aviation access at the moment, we are going in for every airport or aviation-related grant that's available, even if we're not compliant. And we're not compliant with this one because we can't afford a co-contribution, but we're going to have a crack at it anyway. So, GM, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just like to add that I've included a copy of the business case that the Mayor has sent through to the Minister and also given to MP Anne Urquhart last week to try and to get in front of the game. We have requested that, well, we have informed them that we can't afford to co-contribute. At the moment, we're asking for 2.125 million. So that's effectively looking at the drainage system of the airport. So the Cayman report has said that if we do fix the drainage system, then the repairs to the pavement will be a lot less than a total replacement. So that is the critical aspect of and we've spoken about this over the last few months in a lot of detail. So we have requested funding for that. We've also included the funding for capture the water from the roof. We have sort of highlighted that the roof would still run off and onto the taxi area, and obviously with water ponding on that could cause some damage. So, but we also see obviously the benefit with capturing the water and then reusing it in the terminal as well. Technically, that's not part of the criteria. A lot of it has to be airside, not the other side as well. So, but we have pushed through that. We are also looking through that resilience part of it, which is included, potentially around solar power, if they're willing to fund that. Also need to look at the repairing of the wastewater sump and the associated works with that, and that is airside. There's considerable deterioration with the security gate, so we've included that, and roller doors, and as we all know, deterioration, corrosion and everything happens a lot quicker. On the island, we would have liked to included some of the buildings behind, but they're definitely out of scope in terms of this funding application. At this stage, we still haven't formally applied through the portal system. The reason being is once you get to the stage of your co-contribution, it won't let you go past it unless you actually put in the amount you're contributing, and obviously we don't have an amount, so hence we're doing it through the back door, through to the Minister, and we will need to know from them by the end of the week whether or not they'll let us complete the application or take this as our application for the funding. just on the Cayman report, it is getting a lot closer to finalisation, but there was enough within that report to be able to help us inform this business case, which a lot of it's come out of that Cayman report anyway, and there's some other stuff that needed to be done. So hopefully, and as I've mentioned to you, a lot of you before, if we don't get this, then those councils or those owners of airports that do struggle the most continue to struggle, because Councillor Allen said to me earlier on, you know, we're not a profitable airport, hence how can a non-profitable airport ever co-contribute with anything, because we're actually running it at a loss. So I've highlighted within the report that that loss should be included as our contribution.
Yeah, well put.
Haven't taken any questions.
Well, we better move it and second it first, and then we can kick it around some more if we like. Councillor Allen, you happy to move?
Yeah, I'll move that.
Thank you. Councillor Green, happy to second. Thanks. Any further discussion points at your questions at your discretion, Councillor Allen? Yeah, we're going to have a crack at this. Obviously, it's non-compliant as far as the co-contribution is concerned, but we've got nothing to lose. We'll throw ourselves on their mercy. And we just had this discussion last week with MP Anne Urquhart. Non-compliant applications have been successful and have been considered and approved in the past when they're heavily backed up by the federal MP and a few others, which Anne will, because we know what a great stalwart she is for supporting our causes. So we know we'll have her back up. And the work we've done recently with the Federal Transport Minister's own department, their knowledge of us, their knowledge of our precariousness, etc. We'll have a crack at it, see how we go. But it's otherwise $2.1 million we'd never get unless we have a crack, and we'll see how we go. Councillor Ira?
Yeah, just one thing. The wildlife exclusion and perimeter safety, if we do have an animal-proof fence around a thing, does that mean that we have to do less runs up and down the pavement before a plane lands and that, and so save wages and things, or do we still have to do a pavement check every flight that's coming in and going out?
Yeah, through the Mayor. My understanding is that those checks are mainly for bird strike, so they would still need to be done for birds mainly, but also obviously the animals as well. But yeah, there's no way around those.
Yeah, and other debris that can often be blown onto the strip as well, or parts of the windsock that disintegrate. Our windsocks fail at certain times every year, don't they, with the big gales we have come through?
Yeah. But it's a good question, because the more you invest in something, the hope that you reduce some of your operational costs. But in this case, that won't be the case.
Any further questions or discussions related to this? Just confirming, Councillor Allen moved it, Councillor Green seconded it. If councillors are satisfied, we'll go forward and vote for this, to pass this resolution. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Across to, over the page, item 14.4, dog management policy amendment. The responsible officer is Charlotte tonight. GM is standing in for Charlotte. There was workshop last week, so GM, over to you for a quick specific mentions. We can take your report as read.
Thank you, Mayor. Actually, I'll just take it as read, because we have workshopped it, and I think the report is actually self-explanatory.
And the newly revised policy is attached, pages 53 to 76 as well. So I'll move it and second it, and then we can kick it around some more. Councillor would like to move this. Councillor Ira has moved, thank you. A seconder? I'll go with Councillor Layla, seconder this time around. So Councillor Ira, up to you if you want to kick off with any questions.
No, I reckon it's a really good initiative, and I would like to see it go ahead. Companion dogs or companion animals of any type do a great service to people that are elderly and or sick, and I would like to, the more that we can do to get more of these animals around, I would really endorse. And I would actually like to see if the licensing rates for these type of animals is less than the normal thing. If not, can we do something along that lines?
Yeah, through the Mayor, I mean, we can change fees and charges through resolution of council. Usually we wait for the annual plan process where we set the user fees and charges. The other proposal was that for the inspection fee for the 3 dogs or the multi-dogs was also maybe we could look at potentially also getting rid of that. These aren't big income items. If anything, I see them as de-incentivising people to register their dogs, and we want to incentivise that. So I'd always rather the dogs be registered in our database, because it's not necessarily just about the income, it's actually being able to manage and have some control over the dogs on the island. So from a operational perspective, there'll be a council decision to reduce that, but certainly look at anything we can do to incentivise people to register their dogs.
But similarly, we also have to make sure that we achieve cost recovery. We're leaning forward in this with this policy amendment and simplification. That's good. Where we do have to go out on site and do inspections, where we need to make sure we achieve cost recovery as a council there as well. So again, self-explanatory reasons for that. Yep. Any other questions or discussion points related to this? Charlotte gave us a really good heads up, didn't she, at the workshop the other day on. And this was picked up through her own lived experience and the staff's lived experience in the past 6 months of with our dog amnesty, and then a rush on dog registration and tick over the new financial year. So this is a bit of lived experience and try and improve and tidy up things and lean forward as much as we can and simplifying.
Yeah, and if I just can add to that, Mayor, I think we've got more dogs in our system than we've had for a long time, and that's real promising, and I don't think we've ended up having to actually issue an infringement that will go all the way to the court system. So that is pleasing that we had to get a bit harder in terms of not threatening actual infringements, and we did issue them, but once they came in and told us the status of their dog or registered, they were cancelled, and I think we've got over 100 extra dogs in the system than what we had prior to us going down that process. So it's to Charlotte and Shelby that have done a huge amount of work in this area. I think it's real pleasing.
There was also a motion put up at Elga last month. It was actually put up by Brisbane City Council, the biggest council, to create a national dog database for all dogs that go into council jurisdictional information like ours. But it goes to a central database. So the dogs that then are relocated or move across county lines or state lines or jurisdictional lines or whatever, especially if they're troublesome dogs, that they are tracked on that database. So Elga voted for that and approved that. Whether the responsible federal government department will do anything about it, we'll have to wait and see. But down the track, if a federal dog database is established, and again the challenges of that keeping updated would be a heck of a quite onerous, but there could be benefits to that down the track if it's established as well. It'd certainly help us and or new dogs that come into our jurisdiction or our dogs that are here that leave and whatever else. There's already a bit of a history on them, so better checks and balances, and they're less likely to fall through the cracks. Yep. All right, so just confirming, Councillor Ira moved it, Councillor Layla seconded. If councillors are satisfied, we'll go forward and vote on accepting this. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Across to page 77. Item 14.5, Audit Panel Charter and Code of Conduct. This is just updating the policy as far as the dates on the policy is concerned. However, there are no substantive changes to the policy, are there?
No, that's right, Mayor. Effectively, it's an administrative process where we have to review and get updates, and also noting that the same code of conduct and charter is used by the other two councils, Wynyard, Waratah and Circular Head, and they've also won't be making any changes to it as well. So please take the rest as read.
All right, thank you. We'll get a mover and a seconder. Someone like to move this policy, updated policy? Councillor Green has moved. Thank you. A seconder? Councillor Bowden. I saw him twitch. I saw his hand twitch. Councillor Bowden is a seconder. Thank you, sir. Any other questions then, or discussion points related to this? Councillor Ira?
Yeah, the audit panel, do they always meet on the island, or is it possible to do it online?
Through the mayor, it's always
Yeah.
online. They don't come to the island at all.
Yeah. We pay them a retainer to provide this service, and travel costs would probably double it or triple it if we had to bring them here in person. That'd be we almost couldn't afford to have it.
Correct.
All right. No further questions or discussion points then. Just confirming it's been moved by Councillor Green, Councillor Bowden seconded. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Over to what page are we over to now? Over to page 89. Yeah, page 89, second last page. Item 14.6, adjusting our council meeting schedule. The council meeting, as per the third Tuesday in a given month, the council meeting for August is currently set for the 18th of August. However, that's the week of LGAT in Hobart. Most of us at the head shed won't be here, so we want to move the council meeting back a week in August to deconflict with that. So that's the main issue there. There's nothing else really to add, is there?
No.
It's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Correct.
It'll be moved back a week to Tuesday, the 25th of August. So if councillors are satisfied with that quick summary, someone like to move? Councillor Bowden, move, thank you.
I've got a question.
Councillor Layla seconded. Councillor Bowden, did you have anything to add before we go to Councillor Allen?
No, I don't have anything to comment on that. No. I think
All right.
that's a good idea.
It should be another clear Tuesday, and we should still be able to run our ordinary and our closed council meetings as per normal business. Councillor Allen, did you have anything else?
Yeah, believe it or not, there are a few people that actually read that, members of the community that read the council minutes and listen to the podcast. And I wouldn't be surprised if they pick up something that were a little pattern, like, we've talked about cost saving and austerity, but then earlier on in the report there's talk about, for people heading off to Canberra for the conference. And then we've changed the meeting because 4 of us are going to Hobart for another conference. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if the question that gets spoken down the phone to me is, aren't those two in conflict? If you're saving costs, why are 4 people heading off to both those conferences? What do I say? I've got a good idea what it would be, but what would be a good thing to say?
Yeah, look, it's a fair question. We're always, ratepayers are always welcome to kick our tyres and make sure we're representing them properly and we're giving them bang for their buck, so to speak. We didn't actually expect to have another LGAT conference or convention. We were expecting that to run this year's one in December, so early on in the new council's term and tenure, but they haven't done that. They've decided to bring it forward just before the end of this council term, because there's a whole lot happening as far as legislative changes, reduction in councillor numbers, and a whole lot of things to tidy up in this current council tenure at the end of the year, as well as run the AGM, as well as run the general meeting, and they have a little mini trade show, and they do a whole lot of other things as well. So really it's closing off this council tenure, providing adequate representation from us, mindful of continuity. I won't be here for the next one. Deputy Mayor, possibly not either, but we certainly hope that the GM and the Deputy GM will be here for the next LGAT annual convention, and so we'll have we'll have appropriate continuity and succession there as well. Also, LGAT are awarding long service awards as well, and one of those attending with us might be receiving a long service award. So again, want to do the righty by them, and after all their hard graft of serving the local government of Tasmania, we'll pony them up a trip to get their award. So hopefully that satisfies and answers your question. And, GM, what did you?
From the staffing perspective, we will review every time there is a conference that comes up. I know a couple of staff voluntary didn't go to certain conferences as well because of that very reason. It is difficult quite often for council staff to get to conferences because quite often the flights, and if they're in the middle of Tasmania, it makes it a little bit more difficult to get to, because then you've got... So we look at all of the costs and then look at the benefit of whatever we're attending. I think we have cut down the amount of conferences that we're sending staff to, and if they're one-day conferences or we can do them online, then that would be our first preference. But if we're looking at the two sort of major conferences that for Tasmania and the country, it is the ALGA and the LGAT one. So certainly be the only two that I go to.
Yeah, they're the only two that I've been attending as well for the last 2 years. My first year as mayor, I did 6 representative trips, and now I only do 2 a year for commensurate cost savings, as you said.
And staff are quite often staff won't even bother asking sometimes because they know you might have a one-day conference and it takes 3 days out of work, so it's just how difficult that is. So we always look at.
Yeah, so if members of the committee zero in on that one, the overall people are trying to do as much online as they possibly can. And compared to when times are good, there's nowhere near the amount of conferences and travel.
That's right. And the other thing I've been working on is our general managers meeting. I only attend online. I'm the only one. I won't attend it in person, but they are looking at actually coming over here for a meeting as well. So if we can get conference or people over here, it's better. In fact, some of our training, quite often it's cheaper to get the facilitator to come to the island and have 20 people attend, like we've done with the snake course and a few others as well.
And again, the council will continue to rotate the representation at these forums. In recent years, Councillor Layla, Councillor Rowan has got away Ira on this last trip. Councillor Green came with me to the LGAT a couple of years back. So we've shared the representative task and the good professional development and networking you get out of it as much as we could. It'd be nice to take more. Maybe in the future we might be able to afford to take more, but we think for closing off this council tenure with a whole lot of stuff that has to happen at LGAT next month, we think it's 4 is the right number for us. And so hopefully that answers your concerns. All right, any further questions, discussion related to this? Just confirming, Councillor Bowden moved it, Councillor Layla seconded it. We'll go and vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Over the page, onto the back page, there being no further ordinary council meeting business, would somebody like to move this into closed council to transact the following? Councillor Ira has moved. Councillor Green has seconded. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. The ordinary meeting is adjourned. Our next ordinary meeting, council meeting, is the adjusted date, 4 p.m. Tuesday, the 25th of August. I thank the public for attending, and we'll take a quick break. Thank you.